are back. That's right, we are back to Football 101 2024. I am your host, The Beetle. That's right, The Beetle, former defensive back. Back in the day, I'm talking about back in the day, 79 and 80 for Miami University in Ohio. Yes, I was a special team player. I was a walk-on player, scout player, and then I also played at senior high school in senior Ohio. 74, 75, started defensive back, wide receiver. Yes, and corner and safety back in the day. So yes, I'm a bit of the old school version, but I still can bring the insight as a former player to the NFL. And right now, I'm closing out the NFC South, and this is all about the Tampa Bay Bucs. That's right, this is show number 12, all about the Tampa Bay Bucs. And let me just say, yes, you can see me, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, but I was also a Tampa Bay Bucs fan. Yes, I was a Tampa Bay Bucs fan with my boy Brady there. Yeah, I was probably the only one around here supporting the Bucs during Brady's years, and he brought a championship there. So yes, I have good feelings about this Tampa Bay Bucs edition, and let me give a shout out to the local Tampa Bay, the organization #Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Great show. I'm following you on YouTube as well as NFL on CBS. Some great interviews from the local NFL on CBS shows just far during training camp. And matter of fact, their press conference after press, it's not that great. You know, I saw, dang, I'm getting right into this real fast. Am I getting right into, yes, I'm getting right into the Tampa Bay Bucs. And there's a lot of expectations with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, rightly so. And it starts off with head coach Todd Bowles. I'm a big fan of Todd Bowles. Really enjoy his style of coaching. It's laid back. He's laid back, but he's getting more decisive, a bit more edgier. He's been a little bit too laid back, if you ask me, initially, and so that's the reason why, they changed up the offensive coordinator, Liam Cohn. I hear some great things about Liam Cohn, their offensive coordinator. They desperately needed a new offensive coordinator, so management brought in a new offensive coordinator. Jason Light brought in a new offensive coordinator, and of course, Todd Bowles is a defensive-minded coach, defensive coordinator. So I like the way he's approaching this season. He feels more comfortable back as head coach, getting back into the fold, and really stepping up his leadership ability as well, and being more focused. Very impressed by Todd Bowles' leadership. I just think, he puts all the pressure on himself, and yet he knows to delegate as well, and he has to delegate to they brought in a better offensive coordinator. The timing and the language, the offense is getting used to this new offensive style, which is necessary because they have too much prime time, and I mean high level, all pro, Hall of Fame talent on this team. The Tampa Bay Bucs are that good. And of course, you have to start with the major veteran, the one and only Mike Evans. The wide receiver Mike Evans continues to bring it each and every year, steps up his game to another level. After 11 years from Texas A&M, Mike Evans is bringing it again and again and again. So there is no doubt that Mike Evans is still the number one guy to go to. Big time wide receiver, clutch wide receiver. You need a first down, throw it to Mike Evans. Even when a DB is all draped on him, he will still make the catch. At 6'5", 231, Mike Evans is that veteran leader that calls for the ball. And the number 2 wide receiver is here it goes, knows his place. So again, I just want to make sure. Again, Chris Godwin, outstanding veteran. I really love Chris Godwin. I'm glad he's back because he is that number 2 wide receiver. He can go deep, but he also makes those clutch catches. And again, the thing is, you have Mike Evans or Chris Godwin. They are the anti-divas in positions that has a share of players complaining about lack of target. They don't complain. They work well together. And so when you have a tandem like that, you need the quarterback that really fits in. And yes, I am, believe it or not, I'm talking about Baker Mayfield with props. Yes, Baker Mayfield just signed a 3-year deal with the Tampa Bay Bucs. Yes, the one-time Baker Mayfield of the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the one-time Baker Mayfield of the LA Rams. Yes, Baker Mayfield, Mr. Emotional. This is a great fit for Baker Mayfield. And as I saw in his interview on Tampa Bay Bucs and with NFL on CBS, great interview in which he was asked about, is this a better fit for him? And Baker says the energy is high on this team. The vibe is there. And yes, I do have that edge. I do have that edge. But he really gets along with the new offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen. I think that is great chemistry. He mentioned that Liam Cohen gives him options when he gives him the play. And he feels like Liam is a great communicator and a teacher. And that's what Baker Mayfield really needed. Someone to teach him the mechanics of being a quarterback and being a veteran quarterback. Using his skill set, but having different options. And Baker, he even admit he's not being as much of knucklehead, and I say knucklehead before because he would just try to do too much. But now he has a system. He's sounds like he's committed to really working with the offensive coordinator. He's not being that arrogant veteran as much. He's still going to have that edge. He's still going to have that underdog mentality, as he says. But now he can rely upon his playmakers much more. And what I see, not just from the wide receiver, but they also have running back Rachaad White. And let me just say, Rachaad White did well, but in the first game with the preseason with the Cincinnati Bengals, Sean Tucker, really very humble guy, but he was running with so much attitude. And you can see that the offense is concentrating more on the running attack. That's a great thing. They're really concentrating on their running attack. And that's what's desperately needed with the Bucs. When you have a solid running attack with 2 or 3 guys handling the running, that opens up the playmaking ability. That opens up the passing attack. So you can see that they're scheming well, changing up the philosophy, running with a strategy, with a technique, with the edge, perfecting that running attack right up front. With their offensive lineman, the Tampa Bay appears set at tackle, where standout Tristan Wirfs made a smooth transition to the left side. and I believe, the smooth side to the left side after the departure of Devon Smith. And then they have another tackle. Bucs are hoping to upgrade 2 positions 2 years after the sudden retirement of Marpet. Tampa is still trying to find a reliable placement at left guard, but their running attack and their offensive line really looked impressive. So again, that offense is solidifying to another level. So now they're going to score points, and of course their defense. Tampa is always known for their defense, and again, I think their defense will step up again. They re-signed Will Golston shortly before the draft, and so their defensive line is impressive with Golston, with also Vita. He's a Vita Bay. He's that veteran there, 7 years, the inside nose tackle. And then they re-signed Levante David inside. They also have Brazel as linebacking core. So Levante David is back, and they always have. And then they also so the Bucs allow him to go to free agent, another go to free agent, but by KJ Brent was taking more snaps than White and provided more reliable. So again, they're solid at linebacker, and of course, in their secondary, they have all world, my boy Antoine Winfield. That's right, I said my boy Antoine Winfield Jr. at safety. Then they have Jordan Whitehead at safety. A great tandem. Jamal Dean at corner, and then Zion McCollum at another corner. But when you have all-world Antoine Winfield Jr., the son of Antoine Winfield, he just brings another level of professionalism to, and also, they have Jordan Whitehead just acquired. So, unfortunately, yes, they lost Carlton Davis, but again, they have that back end is solidified, and Antoine Winfield, he just makes plays. They give him the ability to move around in that safety position, and that here we go. Let me just say, if the Beetle was playing, that's the position that I would be playing right now. Antoine Winfield Jr. is my type of player because he plays with enthusiasm, with attitude, with professionalism. And he works on his game, his craft, every day. So a shout out to Antoine Winfield Jr., superstar, rightly so, because he puts in the extra work. He doesn't he doesn't count on his name. He puts in the extra work. And that's the reason why he's a super duper star. And you can count on Antoine Winfield Jr. to make a play, sometime, several plays during the game. He learns the game. He teaches the game. He absorbs the game. And he just has that knack, that ability to go with the flow, to make the play, to be in the right position, to do the blitz. And he's also a great cover as a safety. He can man up with some of the fastest wide receivers. So when you have a veteran like that in the defense, in the backfield, you can do a lot of things up front. Special teams, new coordinator Thomas McCoy has a few worries when it comes to kicking. Bowles moved on from the reliable veterans Ryan Suckup and Chase McLaughlin and provided a bigger leg. Tampa converted. So the intangible Bowles' willingness to afford younger players meaningful snaps should pay dividends this fall. The Bucs were essentially in the playoffs mode in the final few weeks. So Tampa seeks to extend the playoff run to 5 consecutive seasons. Again, they want to go deep now into the play. They want to go to the championship game. They want to go to the Super Bowl. That's their edge now. They believe they can make it to the Super Bowl. And I'm in a full agreement. They are right there. They have the playmakers. They have that attitude. They're putting the time in on the running attack. They have the veteran wide receivers. Really like their offense. Really like how they're scheming things. Great tight end. Great secondary. Efficient defensive line. Putting pressure. They're physical. They are a punishing team. And yet they're fast too. So here's the record. Here's the schedule for the Tampa Bay Bucs. 2024 schedule. They start off with hosting Washington. Then they go to Detroit. Then they host Denver. Then they host Philly. Then they go to Atlanta. Then they go to New Orleans. Then they host Baltimore. Ooh, that's going to be good. Then they go, Then they host Atlanta. Then they go to Kansas City. Then they host San Francisco. Then they have a bye. Then they go to the Giants. Then they go to Carolina, the Panthers. Then they host Las Vegas. Then they go to LA Chargers. Then they go to the Cowboys. Then they host the Panthers, Carolina. And then they finish out with New Orleans. And that is going to be for the title of the NFC South Division. And I have the Tampa Bay Bucs at 13-4. And going deeper into the playoffs. They are that good. And I'm giving Baker Mayfield the props to step up and play within this system. And play with this new offensive coordinator who will put him in different situations where he will not have to do all the work and make bonehead plays like he's done before in Cleveland. And I remember those days when he was in Cleveland. We were trying to get him out of Cleveland because of his bonehead plays. So Baker, don't do any bonehead plays. Work within the system. You got a 3-year deal. You should be feeling comfortable. You should feel relaxed. And let me just say, you don't always have to have the underdog mentality, as you say. You don't need that. The players, the rest of the veterans on the team, Evans and Chris Godwin, they don't have that underdog mentality. They are veterans. So Baker Mayfield, I'm telling you right now, you don't need that underdog mentality. Just play within the system and use your veteran leadership. That's how you win. That's how you go further in the playoffs. That's how you go to the Super Bowl. That's how you win a Super Bowl. And if you want to ask questions, just ask Tom Brady. He just came to Tampa Bay within 1 year and took them to the Super Bowl and won it. And I believe Brady will even spend some time in Tampa and give you some pointers. Oh, by the way, I saw this great interview with Chris Godwin, and they asked Chris Godwin, who's been there for quite some time under 3 different quarterbacks, and NFL CBS asked Chris Godwin, the wide receiver, he said, what was it like with the 3 previous quarterbacks? Starting off with Jameson, who was an all-pro. Jameson, he said Jameson was a carefree type of guy, and he talked a lot of stuff in the huddle. And then Godwin said, the interviewer said, what about Brady in the huddle? He said Brady was locked in. He was all business. He would say something every now and then, but he was just locked in. He would just look at you if you messed up and you knew you were wrong. He said he's the GOAT, no doubt. And then he said, what's the difference with Baker Mayfield? He said Baker, he'll clown around a lot in the huddle. He'll talk smack to the defensive lineman, but when he's ready to play, he does lock in. So that was a great interview by NFL on CBS interviewing Chris Godwin, and I learned a lot about Chris. Chris Godwin is such a professional. The brother is such a professional, and he knows his game very well. He's an outstanding wide receiver, and he's stepping up his game even more so with Mike Evans. So that's the reason why I really love the Tampa Bay Bucs. Just take it up another level. And yes, watch out. They will be in that championship game in the NFL, in the NFC. That's how good they are. And let me just say another shout out to head coach Todd Bowles. I'm a big fan of Todd Bowles. He's a defensive-minded player. He's been a little bit too laid back, and I see now that he's putting that edge on them, and he's being more responsible. He don't get the flack from the media there. When he's done, he leaves the set. He used to take too many questions. Now he just gets up and goes. I don't blame you, Todd Bowles. You don't have nothing to prove. You're doing a great job. He just, again, there's that time where he knows the team, the leadership, and he needed better coaching. And I'm glad he's changed out the offensive coordinator and several other coaches. He looked for help. I think he got the right help. So there you go. I got the Tampa Bay Bucs moving forward. It's been a joy. It's been exciting to dig deeper into the Tampa Bay Bucs. And again, we just get started. But this is a very high-level team. And watch out for these Tampa Bay Bucs. They're not under the radar, but no longer they are going to take it anymore from subpar teams. They are an elite team, period. And as I always say, we just get started. Let's